name's Martin Lyons. I farm here in Cambridgeshire. We're on a family farm. We're about 165 hectares, growing mainly combinable crops like wheat, barley, beans, and we try and introduce some livestock, and we do a lot of areas for biodiversity.
You are one of the founding members of the Nature Friendly Farming Network. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so a number of us felt our voice wasn't being represented by any other groups and organisations. So a number of years ago, or 5 years ago, we set up an organisation called the Nature Friendly Farming Network, which is spread across the whole of the UK to really champion farmers that are trying to join up biodiversity and farming and production and food production, and really be hopefully a positive voice for the future. And I've become the UK chair, and we have 3,000 odd farmers, 8,000 members of the public supporting the organisation right across the UK. We're just going to wander through the wood. We have to be a little bit quieter. We've got a nesting pair of kites just before you get to the pond.
Lovely.
They're in an oak tree, and there's a chicken there. It's a couple of days old.
I know there's so much to it, but what does more biodiversity in a farm actually mean? What practically happens?
I want a more wilder landscape with more edges. So we can do edges around the outside of the field, hedgerows, grass margins, flower strips, but we also become increasingly aware on bigger fields we need more habitat in the middle. So we've managed to put strips in the middle of our fields as well. So we have habitat right across the farm landscape and biodiversity. What we did 5 years ago, working with the Wildlife Trusts, they've got a site up the road near St Ives. It's the most species biodiverse, rich little meadow they've got. So they wanted someone to cut and remove it. So we cut it in the morning, we get in there and bale it, and then we bring the bales currently to here and spread the bales out again, and that would have held all the seeds that were captured in there. So all this biodiversity has come from those bales.
Wow.
This would have just been thick grass fields.
We talked a little bit about that will allow different species to move around the country, which is what they need to do so that everybody gets the benefit, given what we've lost at least 40% of the UK's biodiversity since the 70s, I think.
Yeah, and some species are 80, 90%. We really have an emergency to really make that landscape connect and work, and really join up moving species about from where they are still in existence.
Lots of people say, yeah, well, it's all about yield. I have farmers in my family, and a lot of it is about highest possible yield from the smallest possible amount of land.
We're not aiming for the biggest yield. I'm looking for the best margin of return on investment, but I also recognise I need to move away from fossil fuel-based products. So we've been focusing on building fertility into the soil, into the system, where we can get good yields and very good margins from buying less products in. That oak tree's got a scar through it.
Yeah.
It's got struck by lightning, and you can see where the lightning went curled around itself.
Wow.
Yeah, and that what it does is open, same as when the branches fall off, opens up areas for the bats and the birds to nest. Half our winter wheat last year had no artificial fertiliser, and we did over 10 tonnes a hectare.
Wow.
Many of my neighbours may have got a little bit more yield, but they spent an awful lot more money. But I can't get that yield every year. I've got to build a rotation that allows opportunities to build fertility up, bring livestock in, manures in, cover crops, and then understand where that fertility is to then allow the crop to get the best use out of it.
How could normal people help support this? And are you doing anything to get them involved?
So try and buy food where you know where it comes, which farming system it came from, and understand there's many different ways of producing livestock and growing crops. It's understanding that actually farming in a regenerative way really delivers that positivity to the landscape, to nature, the farmer's bottom line. It's actually healthier food for us as well. So that's a real positive message. In the future, that multifunctionality of all our landscapes and my farm business, and getting rewarded in payments or recognition for all of the stuff we do. So we can have a thriving rural business, stacking enterprises and other businesses on this landscape I manage that gives my family and my son and my daughter a living in the future, but also other people in our community, and connecting the farmer back to healthy food and healthy landscapes.
Brilliant, thank you. So nice to meet you.
All right, thank you.